Hey, Pat Rigsby here, and in today's episode, I want to take you through 3 more predictions about where we're headed in 2025 and beyond. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Fitness Business School podcast, the show for fitness business owners who want to grow their income, increase their impact, and improve their lifestyle. Be sure to listen till the end of this episode because we have a brand new special offer exclusive for listeners. So stay tuned. So in the last episode, I talked about how we need to be more collaborative. I talked about the impact of accountability and how I think that's going to be huge going forward. Well, I've got 3 more predictions I want to run you through. The first one is the role that I think AI is going to play in our businesses in the next 12 to 18 months. Now, I'm not trying to look way down the line from this. I mean, heck, one of my really good friends is a co-founder of a fund that invests millions and millions of dollars in AI businesses. And I don't know that he'd be comfortable telling you what to look for 7, 8, 9, 10 years down the road. Things are moving too fast. I can say that I am sure that AI is going to be woven through everything over time. I read a quote the other day that made a lot of sense to me, kind of like electricity is. And I see that. I see it being a piece of everything, not necessarily taking over everything, but being a component of almost everything. But in the immediate future, what we have to worry about now, how does that affect us? Well, I think AI probably allows us to personalize things a little bit more, first and foremost. I mean, you can create AI-based assets that allow you to personalize things for clients more effectively. I mean, you can create personas. You can create kind of pockets of information about each of your clients or about types of clients or categories of clients to create different iterations of what you're doing for those unique people. It allows you to create more variations of maybe one thing that took you a lot of time to create version 1 of. What allows you to create a number of variations that you can kind of splinter off and create versions for any number of people. I mean, whether we're talking about people that may, athletes that may play different sports, meal plans for people that have different preferences, we can create more variations of things. We can do more creative work faster. So it's going to allow us to do things that are more personal to each of the people that we serve. And that's just scratching the surface, right? I mean, there are any number of technologies that allow you to personalize a whole lot more than that. But I just want to give you a sense that AI is going to allow you to not feel one size fits all if you use it appropriately. The second thing that I think it's going to do is serve as kind of an assistant, right? I don't think it should be replacing you as a marketer. I don't think it should be replacing you when it comes to creating systems or executing marketing or anything like that. But it can allow you to go faster, just like you might have hired a person to execute on certain things, whether it's people leveraging AI to do follow-up and appointment scheduling or to take their intellectual property and redeploy it in other formats or help them craft messaging that they're going to put out and create outlines of things or drafts of things. It's going to allow you to move faster. Now, I would tell you, or maybe better yet, caution you against saying, look, I'm going to let AI be my spokesperson. I'm going to let AI be my brand representative and kind of decide what my messaging should be. Because, I mean, ultimately, it's pretty impossible for you to download all of your experience, all of your knowledge, all your aggregated expertise and put that into AI. And so you're only going to get pieces of what you could potentially bring to the table. But if you are plugging in as much as you can and using AI to help you go faster, to help you get more done, to help you maybe accomplish tasks that you wouldn't have had the capacity to do in the past, or to maybe allow you to do things that in the past you'd have had to hire a VA to do and you'd have had to manage that person. Well, it creates a lot of opportunity. So I think that's where we're headed in the next 12 to 18 months. More personalization, the ability to use this as kind of a personal assistant, a marketing assistant, an operational assistant. I don't think it's going to go in and replace what we do. I mean, we've seen this with apps for quite some time. An app is not going to replace a coach. It's just not. I mean, people may hope it will. People selling you the app may tell you it will, but I think we've recognized over time that the long-term effectiveness, it falls short. So does potentially provide some really valuable opportunities for you, some ways that it can make your life easier, solve more problems, create a better experience for clients. You just can't get bogged down and think it's going to replace what you do. It's going to be enough to go out there and be the brand ambassador for you. So that's today's first prediction. That's prediction number 3 overall. Now, prediction number 4, I think that wellness and longevity and health are going to permeate all things fitness. Let me explain. For my first decade in this industry, fitness didn't feel particularly inclusive, right? It felt like, hey, this is for young, fit people. All the marketing materials you'd see, all the stock photos, all the direct mail pieces, websites that all have these young, fit models kind of portraying what fitness was and kind of at the same time telling you what it wasn't. And particularly inclusive for the 50 and over crowd, for women going through menopause, for people who wanted to focus on longevity or anti-aging, for people who just wanted to improve their health. Now, occasionally you'd run across people who would talk about those things, but as a whole, the industry didn't do a whole lot to support that crowd. Now we're doing more, and you're seeing more facilities focus on 50 and over. You're seeing more facilities focus on longevity, anti-aging. You're seeing more opportunities to weave wellness into everything we do. Now, I will tell you, I predicted this pre-pandemic, that wellness was kind of where we were headed. And I think in some ways the pandemic kind of expedited that, because people started to think about, how do I stay healthy, not just physical health, but mental health, and the role that exercise played in that. And so instead of just body composition, people were starting to be more attentive to all the potential benefits that we could provide in our facilities through our coaching. And I think that stuff's only going to snowball. I mean, we see more and more people kind of dabbling and adding recovery components. They'll have Normatec boots. A few people do cryotherapy. They'll do some things, but I think we are going to see everything from mobility or stretching being integrated into stuff to blood work. And don't be surprised if there are people licensing programs, setting up almost like kiosk type things inside facilities to do all of this stuff. I think that specialization, when it comes to the older crowd, the active aging crowd, to the perimenopausal, to the menopausal crowd, I think all of that is only going to continue to grow, right? I mean, you'll see taglines now on articles that say 60 is the new 40 or whatever else, which, I mean, that sounds great to a guy who's 52 as I record this. But I mean, there's something to be said for the fact that the people a little bit older have more disposable income. They're often empty nesters, so they've got more availability. So scheduling and being consistent becomes a little bit easier. Their priorities shift. They're already understanding that, hey, I'm going to invest in recovery from health issues, or I'm going to invest in prevention of health issues. So if you're not tapping into the wellness, the health, the longevity piece of this, there's a big opportunity there. Now, I'm not telling you that's for everybody. I mean, if you train young athletes, probably not for you. If you are really focused on large group training for the younger crowd, maybe that's not your focus. But I mean, I'm even seeing places like Orange Theory and some of these other franchises that typically have marketed to and tried to cater to a younger, fitter, more aesthetic focused crowd. Even they are understanding this opportunity and starting to pursue it. So I think that you can 100% think more health coaching, wellness coaching as an adjunct to what you're doing when it comes to training, when it comes to fitness, and start exploring opportunities. See about collaborative opportunities with functional medicine, functional wellness. Look at opportunities to integrate longevity, active aging, specialty stuff, serving those populations in what you do. The other thing about it is they probably don't want to be in groups of 40, right? So small group training, semi-private. There's some really good opportunities there that allow you to charge a higher price point, tap into maybe a market that's not as crowded, have better margins, and build a really durable, successful business. And then finally, the fifth prediction overall, so the third one today, is about independent training facilities. Now, as I mentioned in the intro to the first segment of these predictions, I was heavily into the franchising world. I mean, I've owned in Anytime Fitness. I founded two franchises or co-founded two franchises that were ranked number one in their respective categories in the Entrepreneur Franchise 500. We had the number one ranked franchise for franchisee satisfaction for 3 years running by Franchise Business Review. So I am not anti-franchise at all, but a big segment of the people who listen to this podcast or watch these videos are independent business owners thinking about how to compete, how to succeed. And so I want to talk with you about what I see being essentially like required if you want to be successful as an independent owner. The first is you've got to lean into personal, right? Franchises are not usually equipped to be personal by nature. Just the model itself is scalable, being more about the program and less about the personal attention, being focused on hiring people at lower wages so that maybe they don't have as highly skilled coaches and they are more program or technology dependent. So your opportunity is usually personal. So more personal touch. I talked about accountability in the previous episode. Lots of personal attention, lots of personalized programming, lots of accountability and outreach, making people feel connected, making people feel like this is unique to them. And what's great is a lot of times you can be personal, even if somebody's got a pretty standardized program. Maybe there's some progressions, regressions within their programming, but the things that you do outside of the basic programming, the strength component or strength conditioning component, the personal stuff around that you're helping people modify or evolve their lifestyle to get the results they want, that provides a huge opportunity. So personal is certainly a must. The second is thinking more boutique and specialized, making sure that to cut through the noise, because really it is noisier than it's ever been with people advertising, with people creating social media content. There's more tugging at people's attention than there's ever been by probably a multiple of 100 if we look back just a decade. And because of that, you need to stand out. You need to have a brand that speaks to your specific target market. And that means maybe specializing. That means using a particular kind of language that people resonate with. If you're talking to somebody 50 and over, how do they operate? How do they think? Where do they shop? What's important to them versus somebody who's 25 to 35? And speaking to those people, connecting with those people, solving their problems, providing not only more personalized or customized solutions to them, but making the environment, the culture, feel like it's designed for them, making the marketing targeted to attract them, to speak to the things that they're focused on now in their lives. So those, I think, are must if you're going to own an independent business. The other thing is we're probably coming to the close of the ability for you to own a brick and mortar facility and not operate like a business owner. The days of just being a trainer and hanging out your shingle and being able to compete in an ever increasingly crowded marketplace are disappearing. They're going away because if you want to succeed, you're going to have to market. It's not a negotiable. Frankly, it's not an episodic thing anymore. I mean, marketing has to be done every day if you want to stay relevant. You're going to have systems, be a better operator, be an effective leader if you want to compete, because the overhead to run a business only increases. So unless you're good, the margins shrink. The competition is taking more market share. So unless you're good, you're going to lose ground. So the things that were satisfactory to get you by in 2015 are not the things that are satisfactory to get you by in 2025. So if you've not committed to being an actual business owner of a training or coaching business, it's not really negotiable or optional anymore. It's a must. So we've covered 5 different predictions. You notice I didn't talk about any particular platform for marketing or what type of front end offer works or whatever else. I mean, that stuff is pretty subjective to who you're trying to serve, what your offers are, those sorts of things. But there are 5 things that I think that I think you need to be aware of, that you need to prepare for, that have a high probability of not only happening, but impacting your business and your success. So go back, review all 5, check them out. And if I can help in figuring out how these should be kind of woven into what you do and how you can make this work for you, shoot me a message at pat@patrigsby.com and we'll connect and I'll talk you through it. See you soon. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Fitness Business School. Before you go, I have a quick announcement. One of the things that we've been doing with our current clients is taking them through this ideal business diagnostic. And really what it is this checklist that allows you to pinpoint exactly what your business needs next so you can keep improving, keep growing, and build a business that you love to own. One that pays you well, one that allows you to have the impact you want to have, and one that allows you to have a lifestyle that you truly enjoy. In this diagnostic, we walk through everything and we do an evaluation and can instantly pinpoint what you need to do next to build that business that you want. I'm going to extend this opportunity to get on with either me or my team and take you through this evaluation and fix your business's most vital needs fast. So if we take you through this, you're going to be able to make those vital changes that you need to finally have what I call your ideal business. If you'd be interested in going through this entirely free, risk-free diagnostic with us and learn what you already have in place, what you're doing well, and where your greatest opportunities for rapid improvement are, just shoot me an email with diagnostic in the subject line to pat@patrigsby.com. Again, an email to pat@patrigsby.com with diagnostic in the subject line will get you scheduled and take you through this evaluation to help you build the business you want.